Sharpen your gums with Vinny and Hessey. Yeah!
All right, y'all. We are back. I am Hessey, and this is Vinny. I think the last time I did it was off. I don't know. It just does whatever it wants to do when it puts it out on audio.
It's all right.
That's cool. Let's go with it.
People want to comment on, oh, you went the wrong way. That's great. Any comment's a comment. Let's do it.
This is true. Well, let's hear how your week went, bro.
My week was just a normal week, dude. Nothing fun, nothing exciting. I got a text from my wife that said, "Hey, weekend fun, not !" And then I had a list of stuff that we were trying to get done this weekend. So, other than that, it was just go to work.
Just get after it, huh?
Yeah, we've been trying to finish painting the back of the house since we didn't finish it the last time. We just painted the front and the side, and then we've been working on the back, which I've had hit one of those, 85% projects on that closet.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to throw out, dude. Is that 85%? Yeah. I mean, you can't really, because you can't go 100, because that would just throw it all off.
It would definitely throw it off. Yeah.
So
yeah, I added a closet on the back of the house, last year, and it didn't have any trim. Like I didn't trim out the edges or anything like that. So I've been trying to hurry and trim it out so we can get it painted. And I don't know, is it soffit or fascia that's up on the ceiling?
Yep.
Yeah. One or the other. So like it kind of
like there's both, because you have your fascia and then your soffit. So it's on there's like the trim is like your soffit, and then the
fascia's underneath part.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of fascia. I mean, it was like we kind of came into the back patio, so it's that metal fascia, I guess. They're probably 4 feet long or however long my patio is, and I built into that, so I had to take some of that out so I could attach, walls and stuff to the trusses up there in the patio part. But so then I've had to put some of that metal fascia back up around the edges, and then we did like the wood trim around all the edges and corners and try to. So yeah, but yeah, so I'm just trying to do that a little bit and fix some of that stuff before we get all the way painted. We've got most of it painted today, and then I took a break to run to Home Depot for more parts. I mean, I'm glad Home Depot's only a few blocks away, because I go there, I don't know, 3-4 times a day when I'm doing a project.
I think Home Depot is glad that it is too, because you go there a lot.
I do go there a lot, yeah. Grab a grocery order, and now here we are.
I mean, I think that's not. I mean, a year to get her painted and soffit fascia.
Well, that's the closet, yeah. But we didn't paint any. Like, we painted the house this summer, so I mean, the paint job is still. We're still in the same year on the paint job, so
yeah, there we go.
Bonus. That's bonus.
We'll take what you can get on that.
Yeah. Yeah. So
yeah. Well, you did. So you had a kind of eventful, I guess, it would count with this week you gave birth to. You had a little baby come out your pee hole.
I did. I had
so
George.
That's always good.
George was born on September 9th. He was 3 centimeters big. He weighed 0.00001 pounds. Yeah. So it was.
I don't even think you should say pounds. Probably 0.0001 like grams.
Ounces? Grams?
Grams.
Yeah.
That's smaller of the.
It is. Yeah. I mean that was rough. That was a rough. You can drop it in if you want. Yeah.
I think you put a picture. I think you sent me a picture of it, so I can drop it in
to pass that
right here and let
stone.
everybody see.
And
let
a lot of people
see George. So what is it? So explain. Like, so you sent me the picture.
Yeah,
I was at the NorCal.
Definitely do that.
Classic, and we'll talk about that. But so you're in the hospital, hooked up to an IV, and then. But why? What is that? What is that? The meaning of that?
I don't understand what just happened here.
So like when they're trying, you're doing it in the little sifter. So like, do you keep it? Then that way you can do like like put it in a ring or something, like a necklace or what? Dude. I feel like it should be worth. It's probably worth something, dude. Like it probably took a long time to create that.
Like a
you know
pearl.
what I mean? Like Yeah, dude, like more than a diamond. You know, like diamonds, like from heat, pressure or whatever. Like I think it's a diamond like coal.
Yeah.
Was coal at one time, and then pressure made it into that. Time and pressure. So
yeah.
I feel like, dude, your kidney stones got to be worth something.
Something. No.
Is it super hard? Have you ever try to scratch something?
No, I have not. I haven't messed.
Dude, you gotta. I mean, I'd be messing with that. I mean, I kind of wish I had one so I could start dealing with it. Scratch it on like some hard surfaces and see like how kind of hardness it is.
Yeah. Oh well.
And be like, my body, my
still
body
have it.
made this.
Yeah.
So we'll start doing some experimenting with it.
But yeah. So anyway, it's one of those things where it's made up of like I think Mom had hers tested and they told her hers was made from greens, nuts, and berries, and then other people have them. Yeah, I know. Like all sounds healthy stuff, but apparently like her kidney doesn't process all of it and it just makes it in stuff. Other people have like sodium, salt, sugar. They say most of the time a lot of people drink a lot of caffeine, so caffeine, kind of gets in there and it turns crystallized and stuff. But this one was like black. It looks like one of those little nerds, little nerd candies.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna put a picture on here for everybody to see.
Rounded. A lot of the pictures you see.
Yeah, dude, definitely you're lucky it was rounded because man, I've seen when I looked at some of them it looks like a goat head.
Yeah. Sliding
through your body, and I was just like, whoa! It's got like little crystals, shards off of it.
Yeah, this one I was lucky. Yeah. So,
but I also read too. It's like it is, like a genetic thing. Like it's just your body just does them. Some people do a ton of them all the time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And no matter what they're doing, it's just
I have a coworker that she has to go in every 6 months and get tested, and she drinks a half a cup of lemon juice, and has to drink a gallon of water a day. That's what she's, the doctors told her that she needs to do to help.
Try to keep. So is that to flush them?
So the acids in the lemon break them down. So the acids will kind of break them down inside your system before they either form, or if they do form, it keeps them small enough that you don't even notice it, type deal. But so they hooked me all up. They try to flush it. Friday, I went through a few episodes on Thursday night at like midnight. I went for a walk outside at 1 o'clock in the morning. Like you can't get comfortable. You just don't even. There's nothing you can do. You can take some pain medication to kind of muscle relaxer, whatever like that, to kind of make it go away.
It sounds like you're getting ready to give birth.
It was, I was on my knees. I was hanging over the bed. I was yelling at my wife because I couldn't hear what she was saying through the pain. Like she was like talking to me, and I'm like, I don't whine. I'm doing enough whining for the two of us. Like
she's whining because you're whining.
She was like, I'm so sorry. I wish you could. What can I do? I'm like, stop whining. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't. I'm doing enough for the both of us.
One of us has got to be tough.
Exactly. I need you to be like, hey, what can I do? Like, this is it. Like, so throbbing, and it was just in my head that be a little more stern. I mean, she was very supportive and stuff like that. And she was trying to help a lot, but it got to the point where I couldn't even hear what she was saying. Like, the pain was, I couldn't get the medication bottle open, and I had tossed it on the bed, and I was like, open this for me. And she was like, okay. Like, I kind of, I got
getting that little short temper like we talked about in the other podcast, huh? It was the old Vinny coming out.
And then I got my head down, so I'm not looking, and I go, where is it? And she goes, it's right there. Like, she had it laying there on the bed. It was opened out of its little tab, and I drank, and I did that, and I went for a walk. I came back 1 o'clock in the morning. I finally was like, I got to try to go to sleep. I can't watch TV anymore. I need to try to sleep. And then I woke up at 7:30. So it was a 1 to 6:30 deal, and I was up. And then at 10 o'clock, it hit me again. I was in the living room and like fell to the ground and hung onto the couch, and I was just trying to get through.
Now, is that just when it's moving?
I think that's when it's moving. Yeah.
You think it's just when it's like just kind of starts rolling down?
Move somewhere. And then it feels like you have to pee all the time. Like you go pee, and it's like a little bit, and you're like, what is going on? And then you have to pee, and it's a little bit, and a pee, and a little bit. We drove to St. George that day. We were going to go after work, but since I didn't go to work, we left a little earlier, about 3. We drove probably for about an hour, and I was on the freeway just driving, and I felt okay. Like I did. I felt like there was no sharp pains or anything to affect any of that. And then we got to a town called Parowan, and there's a truck stop there, and I immediately had to go. Like I had to pee so bad all of a sudden. Got off the freeway, and I didn't take my catcher with me, so it was like, well, here it goes. I'm gonna shoot it into the urinal. So, but I didn't. And then we went to St. George, and I didn't have any pain after that. So Saturday morning, I was catching, woke up in the morning, got my funnel, and boop, felt it go through, and there it was.
So it had passed those main parts or whatever.
It probably had passed on Friday.
And then it was going through the urethra by then.
It was sitting in the bladder, just waiting
to get in your
bladder.
Because you just got a big old pee hole.
And it also dilates more. But the other two between your feet out.
Yeah.
So your urethra from your bladder to your pee hole, that tube is a little bigger, and the doctor told me it has a harder tube. Yeah. It doesn't dilate anus muscle on the end of it. So
it's called a sphincter?
Yeah, well, he called it an anus muscle. So while I was in the hospital, I'm like on my knees, laying on the bed, trying to do mantras like, relax the anus.
Yeah, you just got double anus muscles flexing.
Yeah, I got them both going. Yeah.
Yeah. Dude, you got 2 anuses. That's awesome, bro.
So yeah, I got it. I put it next to a dime and then sent you that picture. So
yeah, I'm gonna post those. I'll have them already. I've posted them at the beginning of this conversation. But so that reminded me, one of our listeners had hit up about. So she was having and she's a female, and so she was having some stomach issues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she, you know how they say to do vinegar and you do baking soda and a little bit of vinegar or whatever, and I guess it's
kind of make an Alka-Seltzer DIY.
Yeah,
Seltzer.
Exactly. So her and her boyfriend, fiance now, were making this drink. So she looks it up and then grabs it and puts it in a cup and stirs this thing up and drinks it, and is tells her boyfriend it's worse. My stomach feels like it's gonna explode.
Yeah.
She's, I don't know I couldn't tell you the exact details if she felt like she was gonna shat herself or pop like a seagull eating an Alka-Seltzer.
Right.
I'm assuming it's both.
Yeah, I mean,
because you're supposed to put a teaspoon of baking soda in the apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
And so she ended up, it was so many teaspoons, and she ended up putting basically 3 times the amount of baking soda.
So she's
she made a vinegar bomb. Remember how you made vinegar bombs when you were a kid?
I've heard about them. I never made one.
Yes, you put vinegar in there, dump baking soda into a 2-liter bottle, put the lid on it, throw the thing, and it'll fill up and explode.
Okay.
So she made a vinegar bomb inside of her stomach.
Wow.
So her boyfriend looks at it and he's like, well, wait, what are you looking at? And she goes, yeah, I did this. And he looks at it and he goes, hey, do you think you could and he's being all chill and calm. Do you think that you could, because she was in the bathroom, maybe just put your finger, try to throw up. Can you make yourself throw up? And she's like, what? Why? And he's like, well, he doesn't want to freak her out.
Really?
Oh, God, you cooked 12 times the amount you're supposed to take.
Oh, shit.
Because it was 12 times or something about it. I forgot to get the details on it. But anyways, it's 12 times the amount of baking soda that she put into the apple cider vinegar and made a human vinegar bomb inside of her stomach. So she was just it was just bloating her out, dude.
So what happened?
No, I mean, she's still alive.
But she didn't say how it ended?
I don't know.
I want to know how it ended.
She may not want to disclose what came out of her.
Did she burp?
When that flushed.
Did she puke?
Who knows?
Did it just push out? I mean, at least in a human body.
All right, so she knows who it is, so you're listening. I don't want to put a name out there because I feel like that'd kind of be. But she knows. So email us and let us know which end it popped out of, belly button, mouth, booty. I don't know, dude. But could you? That'd be so uncomfortable, dude. Oh. I mean, I do apple cider vinegar in the morning, a shot of it in the morning, every morning.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine if I threw some baking soda in there, possibly 12 times the amount, too much, and imagine what my stomach would do. I would die. So she's tough, dude. Good on her. But speaking of her sister is a listener.
Okay.
And we did get an email from her.
Okay.
A very long email. So shout out to Kelly.
Well, okay, that's good.
Because thank you for the email. It was very detailed, very professionally written. Like, I can't wait to meet you at the wedding.
Perfect.
So, yeah. So she wrote us up. So she's in the medical field. Remember how we had talked about the urban doctors and rural area doctors,
right. We were talking
and all that stuff. So how we were, and there's some valid. We did have some valid points, so I felt pretty good about that.
Oh, good.
There were some other ones she kind of kicked us in the balls about.
Oh,
but I mean, what? I mean, I'm not a doctor, dude, but I'll take a look.
These are just our opinions.
One of those. Dude,
we don't know
I stayed at a Days Inn Express, so back off, Kelly.
Holiday.
Jeez.
It's a holiday.
Whatever. Motel 8, dude. Relax.
Super 8, Motel 6.
Yeah. Kelly, relax. I stayed at a Motel 6, okay? Top floor. Yeah. Master suite.
All right. What does she got? What did we do wrong? What did we do right?
Oh, yeah. Well, it was like, so she just kind of goes over like the rural healthcare, where she's from. Doesn't mean lower quality. She brought that up to begin with, which we kind of understood that too. And you have good and bad doctors is like what she was referencing that to. So it doesn't really matter where, any good surgeon, rural or urban, should evaluate the risk benefit to a patient prior to surgery, obviously. That's her words. So it's like she's saying like a good doctor should say like, hey, if you do it this way, you might have a club foot, compared to like not doing it. So that part I get. She says you may have better doctors in urban area from the financial standpoint, like we were talking about.
Yeah.
So she's in the medical field, like she deals with it. She says like, because she's back from over in Missouri is where she's from. And so she just kind of goes into, I'll just read it real quick. You may be on something with a better doctor in urban area from the financial standpoint. You may find that your urban facilities pay better. Stands to reason why the well-experienced specialists will flock into urban facilities versus rural facilities. Some high-quality docs do stay in the rural areas for just that, rural areas. Many times they were born and raised locally and went to provide to their communities. And that's what we had talked about. Good doctors just staying around, like having that Doc Hollywood type relationship. She says recruiting is a huge thing in healthcare for physicians that are specialized. Many providers have contracts and non-compete clauses in these contracts. She says, let's see here. I've worked in healthcare since 2003. Solid advice still today is to provider who was amazing 10 years ago may have completely different practices today. So then she's saying, like, get a second opinion if you feel like that. Because somebody who was really good 10 years ago may not be up in the times now, or whatever. Right. But that part of it's cool. She's she says she has the best of both worlds. I work in a local hospital as a clinic operations officer. We have one rural hospital and 12 soon to be 19 outlying clinics. Most of these clinics are rural primary care family medicine clinics. However, we have several specialists that come to our clinics and our hospitals, a couple urban hospitals in Kansas City. So, yeah, so she wrote a whole thing, dude. Thanks, Kelly, for that. I mean, it was definitely informative, but it does make sense. We were on point on some of it, but she did kick us around a little bit on like how we were saying that good doctors aren't in the rural areas. I think that's what you said, Kelly. I think that's what Vinny said, anyways. So I'll just throw that out there.
It's possible.
But yeah, so that's cool. Well, at least I know they got some good clinics and doctors in Missouri when I go there next year. I mean, hopefully I don't need one, but
right,
because we're going to do a wedding there, so that's cool.
Wow. You're going to Missouri for a wedding.
Yeah. So, dude, I'm pretty stoked about this. This is a pretty cool thing. I was asked to, I guess, would be facilitate a wedding. Is that right? You know what I'm talking about? Is that what they say? How they say it?
I don't think so. Officiate?
Officiate?
Officiate? Like, are you marrying them?
I'm marrying them.
Yeah, that's officiate, not facilitate.
What's facilitate mean?
I'm
That
pretty
they
sure
do
they'll
it
be
at, like
banging
my
the freaking bride before she gets married.
What? Is that what it is? Oh man. All right, we're not doing that. Wait, we're not doing the first one I said. Are you sure that's right?
You're officiating. Yeah.
Officiate. I don't even know if that's what they call it. Something different, I'm sure, in the wedding terms. But yeah. So I'm gonna marry him. Dude, I'm pretty stoked
awesome,
about
dude.
it.
That is
they asked me to
great.
do it, and I was like, "What?" So now I got to go get my license and come up with some stuff that I got to have a speech on. And
Oh yeah, you're gonna have
talk.
to like.
At least the cool thing is, like I told him, I'm like, it's gonna be short because it's not about me. It's about you guys. It's your wedding.
You cover the
So I could
basics
just
and you just make
Bam,
it
bam,
about
bam,
them.
bam, and get
Right.
through a couple jokes. Talk about some stuff that they don't want me to talk about. Just ask everybody, hey, does anybody want them not to be married? If so, shut up
Goodness.
and go out. You're not welcome here, or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, so I'm pretty excited about that. I mean, I got to do some homework and get that stuff set out. But yeah, I definitely felt blessed and truly honored
that's
that
fantastic.
that they would ask me to do that. So I'm stoked.
Is it outside or inside?
I believe it's outside.
But it'll be in
But
October.
it'll be in October, so it'll be cooler.
Yeah, so you
So
won't
I
have
won't be
any
sweating my bag
Yeah,
off.
exactly.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'll probably be sweating anyways,
You
but
run
just
hot
maybe not
anyway, so,
profusely.
yeah.
Yeah, doesn't really matter. So hopefully there's a breeze. That's all we can hope for.
Yeah.
Like wishful thinking. Maybe they can get me a fan.
I think you'll be fine. You'll be
Yeah.
fine.
I'll be all right, dude. One day, as long as I got it studied down. I mean, everybody goes up there, stands up there with their little phone or tablet, and goes through all this stuff. Because I ain't memorizing. I ain't gonna be able to memorize it without messing up like verbatim. You know, you have to do the verbatim part, like take this
Right,
and
you gotta
take this
cover
and
the
blah blah
stuff,
blah blah. Yeah, I got to cover all the legal,
Legal
jargon.
And
Yeah.
have a couple of your scriptures in there, you know.
Oh yeah, dude, I'm gonna come up with some good ones. I'm gonna have some good Bible verses in there for them. But yeah, I think it's gonna be super rad. I don't know what's there. I gotta start looking that stuff up. She's like, oh, there's like a little bed and breakfast, like a 5-room bed and breakfast with like all the knitting ladies go and stay at or something. But so maybe I'll learn how to knit too. I don't know. I'm just gonna do it all.
No, it sounds great. You can go to all the Mormon places. What are they?
They have that in Missouri.
Dude, that's where it started. Yeah.
Wait, that's where Mormonism started, was in Missouri?
Well, that's
Are you
where
sure?
yes.
That's where they settled?
Well, that's where they had started. They tried to start, the religion and stuff there, and then they got kind of, they were getting
Booted out?
Yeah, they were getting what do they call it? Like pitchforks and fires, and they got run out of Missouri, and then they came to Utah. So yeah, they started in Missouri. So
well, they're not. Well, all the group is a Christian.
Yeah, no,
we're a Christian group. Yeah,
I was just kidding you. But yeah,
so that's
your weekend. We didn't get into your last week.
So that's where. Well, that's just kind of all this stuff. Yeah, we did the NorCal Classic. That's when you were sending pictures of being in the hospital.
States having a baby is
birth
because
to
every
George
doctor having a baby, right? Yeah. So the only reason times that I've had a kidney stone, they're like, this is as close as a male will ever get to feeling what childbirth feels like. So that's the only reason they call it having a, you make fun of it for having a baby and stuff. My future daughter-in-law, she was pregnant and had a kidney stone before she gave birth. And we asked her the other day which one she would rather do. And she said, I'd rather give birth. So I feel like, kidney stone's pretty tough to go through. So that's...
Well, I think that you'll probably have, I'm sure we'll get emails on this now. There's probably a mixed bag of that.
I mean, I don't know what it feels like to give birth.
I can guarantee most females are going to be like, Mother, you don't know what it's like. Right, going to give you that part, which I understand. I mean, I don't understand, having never had childbirth, never passed kidney stone, so I'm out of this argument. The only thing I would look at is to say where the female is saying the kidney stone, she'd rather do birth than a kidney stone. My question would be, did she have an epidural? Because that would make a huge change, because I feel like a kidney stone, you kind of got to have, you're kind of through the pain. You're feeling the pain all the way. They kind of try to probably give you some like Oxycontin or oxycodone or whatever to kind of help lessen the pain.
Yeah.
But it ain't like an epidural where they just numb your whole bottom half.
Yeah, but women have to go through it for 9 months. I mean, there's a lot of different pains and a lot of different things that they have to go through before they actually.
Oh, they're not talking about childbirth. You're talking about pregnancy?
No,
right. I was saying the doctor.
Yeah.
The doctor compared it to childbirth. That you don't go through childbirth for 9 months. You go for childbirth from the time you start dilating, and it could be hours for sure, but that's childbirth. No. Growing.
Those comments were from Hessey,
pregnancy.
Not Vinny. Just
yeah.
you know.
I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. Like, you know, I mean, I have a wife. She went through, but there wasn't a time in the 9 months that she was pregnant that compared to the amount of pain she went through.
True.
During birth,
okay.
Birthing a child, and she didn't have an epidural. She went raw dog.
Dang.
She just grunted and pushed. And, I mean, even the doctor was like, okay, you don't have to yell. Use that energy inward and push, because she's like, ah! I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So you think she was doing a deadlift or something. But yeah. So anyways, so back to that. If you want to comment, we could definitely use some
comparisons
to the two and see, because I can guarantee you a ton of people have done. A lot of the listeners we have probably had both or done both.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, NorCal. We went to NorCal, which was up there in Folsom. Probably I would say the largest CrossFit competition on the West Coast, I would say.
Sounds good.
I would probably say about that. I mean, there was a lot of money involved. There was a ton of athletes. They go from, in this competition, we got there Thursday because they had athlete briefing on Thursday night. And then, so you found out what your workouts were. So you qualified for it months ago.
Right. And
then you just trained for whatever. You knew there was going to be like a swim and stuff in there. But then Thursday night, everybody meets there. They did it live on Instagram and all that stuff. And you do they tell you what the workouts are. And then that starts Friday morning and ends Sunday afternoon.
So 3-day event.
3-day event, yeah.
How many workouts per day?
2 workouts per day. Some of them were long. Some of them were short sprints. Some of them were like short sprints, but like 2 of them combined, but would be 1.
Okay. So
right.
basically you could have 2 workouts, but one was like, this is A and this is B.
Yeah, you got like 5 minutes to complete this, and whatever time you get done before that 5 minutes, you can take a little rest, and then at the 5-minute mark, this other one starts.
Okay.
And then that's your workout. You're scored accordingly.
So you would get 2 scores out of an A and B part, right?
Yes. On some.
A.
There was one that was like an 800-meter run, sprint. Okay. And then you had, and that was a 5-minute one, and then you had rope climb. That was back to back, but you got 2 scores out of it.
Right, you got a score for your 800-meter run, and then you got a score for your rope.
Right. But then they had one that was a swim event with run and an obstacle course, and that was scored as one
unit. Or one competition. So you had
one competition.
So it was a time event. So from when you started swimming to the time you finished, that entire whatever happened in the middle of that, whether it was a swim, obstacle course, rope climbs, any of that, that was all together.
Yeah.
How'd the swim go? I mean, I know you've been training on the swim and you've been doing pretty good. We've talked about swimming and stuff, but
I wouldn't say pretty good, but I mean I can swim to where I don't drown.
But you
and I didn't have to doggy. I did,
swimming.
yeah. I didn't have to doggy paddle, and I didn't backstroke, and I didn't use any of the paddleboarders as
Flotation device.
Yeah. So they had them set up throughout, and then they're like, you can. They told us at the event you can use a paddleboard to get your life together,
like take a
if
break.
Need. So yeah, so you had to take in. Basically, you had to swim across the lake, so it was an open swim.
So it's a full lake, not a pool.
No, so it's a full lake, 400. And they told you it was like 300 meters, but it was like ended up when you clocked it on your watch, it was like 520 something yards, which is like almost 460 meters.
Now, is that because everybody was swimming in zigzag pattern, or is that
no? I think it's just
a miscalculation.
I don't know if it was miscalculation or if it's just like maybe they had previously done it the year before and thought it was 300.
But
or
the water
maybe they
had to go
yeah,
farther.
The water level could be up because there's a dam there, or they started at a different position.
Oh, okay.
Or whatever, because you just, even if you move up the shore off
Or
20
they're
yards,
there with one of those range finders, and they're like, click.
could be
and
that too. Yeah, but and so it was a little longer for sure. And then they said, well, if you need to, you could get a life jacket if you wanted to.
Did they dock point for a life jacket?
You instantly went down into like what they would consider like your own division, like a scaled version. Anybody who did it without, no matter how long it took, would beat you.
Right. Okay. So you had your scaled version, you had your masters, you had your elite, you had your.
Well, it would just scale you in no matter what division you were in. If you put a life jacket on,
so if you put a life
just
jacket,
bumps you to the last.
One guy put a life jacket on,
He's last.
Would automatically be last in your class in
Correct.
that event.
Yeah.
Exactly. How'd that work out? Anybody throw on a life vest?
There was, there was a couple people. There was some of the ladies, couple of the older ladies had some life jackets on. There was a dude he was younger than I was. I think he had to be in the, I want to say maybe like the intermediate. No, he wasn't novice. So it goes like intermediate, scaled, novice. So I think he was in the intermediate. And he had a life jacket on. And he got in the water. And I'm pretty sure he thought he was going to drown even with a life jacket on. He's freaking out.
Wow.
Like going nowhere. I don't even think he made it 12 meters. There was just water splashing and kicking and just trudging and just he's freaking out basically.
Okay.
Trying to just I don't know, like a bulldog in the water. So the paddleboarder came over and he's trying to climb onto the paddleboard. And she's like, no, just hang on to the side. It's not going to sink. Like, you're not sinking. She's like yelling at him. I was afraid she was going to start. I was afraid she was going to start poking him with the rower, dude. Just so with the oar. Yeah, with the oar, so that he doesn't just tip them both over. And so, dude, he's freaking out. And so she gets him to that. He's like wrapped around the front of this thing, and you can see his legs. Like he's trying to just cling on to this paddleboard, and she's paddleboarding him back into the shore.
The opposite direction that he needs to go.
Oh yeah, because he only made it out. He probably could have told him, "Put your feet down," and he would have been able to stand up. But so she paddleboards him back in, and he gets out, and he's like, I tried. Undoes his life jacket. Like he knew he couldn't swim. He knew it was going to be something that he was would not be able to complete, but was going to try.
Yeah, that's good.
And as soon as he hit the water, he went into freak out mode, and that was the end of it. And it was like, nope, get him out.
Said, even if you'd done a backstroke with the life vest on, you could have at least moved.
Yeah, you could have. With a life jacket, you could easily have made it. It would have just taken you longer.
Right.
I mean, there was
time cap on this event. No. Oof.
Because there was a guy that was really good in our group at everything, but swimming.
Okay.
And so he even said, he's like, "Oh, I'm be using those paddle boards." I'm like, "Nah, you'll be all right, dude. Just keep swimming." He's like, "No, I'll be using them." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And he wasn't lying. He made it out to the first buoy.
Swim to the next
he
paddle
made it
board.
out of the first buoy and was like, "Get over here." Buoy's paddleboard over. He grabs onto it. Basically, then she just stayed with him. the whole time. He would just, as he would swim some more, and then he would grab a hold of it. And they just kind of turn themselves sideways and stop progress.
Right.
And then they would swim. So that one took a hit on him for time, because basically, so I did it better than I thought I would. The water wasn't as cold as when we went up to Boca. So that water was so cold, you were almost like in shock. And then you get that first 100 yards out, it's cold, and so you were swimming hard. But at this lake, like when you first got in, it was a little bit, you were breathing a little heavy. And then I just had like, in the back of my mind was Tori just going, kick, 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 because that's what she yelled at me at the time 2 years ago when I did it in a pool.
Okay.
She snuck in through the guardrail thing and was standing over on the other end in my lane. The only one over there. Right. And I would get there and she'd be like, you're forgetting to kick. You got to kick, kick, kick.
Yeah.
So when I would turn around and take off, push off the wall and come up, I would hear her in the pool. She would be going, she's hollering at me to kick, because you could see like I'd be doing pretty good on kicking, and then all of a sudden my kicking would stop and I'm just like pulling myself through the water. Right. So, yeah, and I told her, I said, in the back of my mind, I'm just like, just kick, 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 and it's just her yelling kick. So I kind of try to stay doing that, and then I would get up. You had a spot to know where you're going, or you're going to drift, whichever way the current is going, you know. And so I would freestyle, and then you kick up and breaststroke and look at where it's at. So I do like 2 breaststrokes to see where the ramp was to come up the bank, and then I would go back to freestyle. So, yeah, I did it in less than 9 minutes, which was pretty cool.
Sweet. But
then you have a dry pack that you're swimming, that you're dragging along behind you.
And what's in your dry pack?
My shoes.
Okay.
Your shoes and socks and a little rag I had in there to wipe my feet off.
Okay.
Because you have to run up the bank in the dirt and rocks. Then you go through this little, like, cones. You go through the cones there. Then they tell you, you have numbers written on you. Your number, you go through, they put your number down, so they mark your swim. Okay. Then you go and sit down and put your shoes on. You have to take your dry bag with you because you're on the other side of the lake, and you run, and you do this trail run that goes like straight up a mountain. And then you get to the top of the mountain, it's got a big flat area, and they have barricades every, like, I don't know, 30 yards.
Okay.
And you have to run with these 2 ruck
How
bags.
Tall barricades?
Like regular, those metal barricades, 4 foot tall.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, and then you have 2 ruck, they call them canisters, so they're sandbags, but they just have handles on the top.
Okay.
And they're 55 pounds each. So you run to the barricade, you got to throw them over the barricade, then you jump over the barricade. And you do that 4 times, and you do that 4 times back.
Oof.
Then you take off running.
Total. 8 times total.
Correct, yeah. So I would just run up to both of them and just swing them both up and chuck them both over at the same time. Throw them over, and then I would jump over.
It's insane.
Then you throw that down, then you have to run down the mountain, this little trail down the mountainside, and then you hit this little bike trail that runs along the freeway. Takes you back across the lake, like where it runs from the river or the dam or whatever right there.
Okay.
Run back, and then you come back into the venue, and you got to do 10 ring muscle-ups to finish your time.
Dang.
That's one event. Yeah, I took
one event. And then how long in between that event to the next event? It was
on Friday, so then we had like 2 hours. Well, that was my second event. My first event was where was that? My second event? I can't remember what. You don't remember. So we had to do. Oh no, it was my second, because my first event.
You were done for the day.
After that one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So the first event, which was like about 2 hours earlier, was 30 cal row, 20-foot handstand walk, the 6 pullovers of the bar, and then a reverse handstand walk 20 feet. And then you did 20 cal row, 20-foot handstand walk, 4 pullovers of the bar, 20-foot reverse handstand walk, 10 cal row, 20-foot handstand walk, 2 pullovers, 20-foot reverse handstand walk, and you were done.
Dude, and then when I started doing handstand walks, I used to do them like my body wanted to go in reverse automatically. So it took me forever to start going forward. But now that you're used to going forward and you've been training going forward for years, now all of a sudden they just throw in a reverse one, so you got to go forward and backwards. Like, that's a lot of control to be doing on your hand, dude.
Oh, yeah. There's
you
a lot
always throw your
upside down.
You throw your feet over you kind of like a scorpion, because those are going to pull you. So now every time you want to go up, you want those feet to kind of lead you so they move you. But now when you go in reverse, like, how do you don't throw your feet as far forward, or you just got to keep them straight?
You stack them straight up, and then you try to push one back like a little rudder.
Okay.
So you have to stand more straight. You don't let it curve over. So you go straight up, and then you kind of let that one foot come back a little bit, whichever foot does it.
Whichever direction you want to go, you're letting that foot go the direction you want to go.
Correct. So you're kicking straight up. You're doing basically just what you would do for a handstand hold.
Okay.
And then whatever leg wants to come back. If it's your left is comfortable, or if you're right, then you kind of just let your right foot go back. I would say it goes towards your going back, because you're going backwards. So instead of let it go over towards the back of your head, you're like straight up, and then kind of push your foot towards like where your face is looking at.
Oh, okay.
And then it starts to cause you to go back reverse.
And you had to do those in, you told me it was what, 4-foot sections?
4-foot increments.
So if you made it 4 feet, you could drop down, shake it out, reset, and go.
Yeah.
But if you fell before that 4 feet, you had to go back to the beginning of that 4 feet?
Yeah.
Dude.
Start over.
Dude, that's mental. That's a lot of mental stuff.
Well, and then the pullovers, dude, you're flinging your feet up around and then smashing your wiener on the pole. Like, some of the times, like, yeah, dude, I mean, I will. Dude, there's times I was on it.
Well, I get it.
And I'd have to, like, rotate my hip and, like, get it to, like, get back into place before I tried to finish rolling it, because I was afraid it was like rolling dough.
Yeah.
Dude, just smash.
When you roll dough, it gets bigger. You know what I'm saying?
It felt like it was. It was definitely getting that way. I told Tasha I didn't even know if it was going to work after I got done. Freaking just smashing.
3 days of this and of putting your body through.
Yeah, it was.
The ropes were out in the sun. They're brand new.
The ropes were out in the sun. Slick. Yeah, so many people. I mean, I was blessed too. Like, I got just big hands, and I guess just the way I can grip it. Like, there was dudes that were, the first time I slid down it after the first rope climb, my hands were beet red and they were super hot, and I was like, ooh. Like, I felt like, okay, I could see where this would take the skin off your hands.
This will wreck you. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I would slide down, I would sit down and just put a little more pressure on my feet.
Okay.
And kind of not so much. Usually I just like slide like two good just long slides to slow down, then I'm off. But this one you had to kind of control a little more with your feet and take some off, but then like let your hands kind of a couple times getting it. And then every time I drop down, I'd hurry up and grab chalk and then do it again. Chalk, do it again. Chalk,
dude, chalk's the best. I tell all the guys in my class, I'm like, put more chalk on. They're like trying to get a lift. They're trying to do something. I'm like, put more chalk on. You'll do better.
That's
like,
right.
it's mental. It's mental.
Yeah.
You put chalk
this
on.
one was definitely, it gave me that layer. Right. And it would be all gone by the time I got to the bottom.
Oh, jeez.
It's like, it's just the rope's hot, slick. You know,
have you ever thought about wearing one of those belts that has a little chalk pack in it?
No, not at all.
No?
I don't. Usually there's chalk everywhere, and if I didn't, I'd just stick a piece of chalk in my pocket.
Okay. I don't.
What do you mean? Like it's got to just rub it real quick?
No, there's
like it's exposed, or what?
It's a little pouch. You know, it's like
Is
a
it
little
called a fanny pack?
Similar. You don't zip it up. But I've seen some people with that've gone to competitions and they've got like this little. I mean, it's almost like a mountain climber belt. Like they have a little chalk. You know, it's all powdered up. It's not a chunk of chalk. It's powdered, and they'll have those in like a little pouch.
Well, hopefully you don't have to do handstand or something, and you forget to zip the pouch up.
That's true.
Just dump it up. Dude, also you look like a coke addict, dude. It's just. But yeah, it was good. I mean, there were some fit dudes. Some like I didn't do too well on like two of them. the other ones I did pretty well at. There was some like that sprint when we came around the beach and it was all rocky, sandy and rocky, and there was like holes, and because people just hang out there and do that, dig little pits and stuff like that. Sure. And we're sprinting through them.
They didn't take a baseball rake thing. Like
no, not at all.
Move it all out for you and make sure it was all nice.
Because there's rocks everywhere, and I'm just like, for me, it's not. As I get older, it ain't worth. I'm not worth blowing an ankle running through this dirt. You know what I mean? And then not even be able to compete anymore the rest of the weekend. But it was super fun. The elites were like Sweeney, and there was a guy that just got back from the CrossFit Games from a team. A couple guys that had been to regionals. Dave Castro was there. He's like the programmer for CrossFit. So CrossFitters know who he is, but everybody else probably like, who the fuck is that? But so he was there because he programmed it. What's that?
He was in charge of CrossFit at the.
Yeah, and he's back into CrossFit
for a little while, wasn't he?
Programming of CrossFit now also.
Yeah, he
programmed. He programmed the weekend,
dude.
And so, but yeah, so it was cool. Sweeney won, the owner of our gym. Sweeney, he won the elite.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's $25,000.
And how many people were in your group? 14? Is that what you told me? There was
started out 17. There were 17 that made it. Yeah. We had a couple drop out like after the first day. Probably. I could see that. Like, because if you didn't swim and you put a life jacket on and you just start out the very bottom and then you saw the workouts and like, well, I'm not really good at this one.
Right.
Like, the sandbag one was brutal on people. 160-pound sandbag you had to throw over your shoulder and then bear hug squat it. And you had to like advance it, and then once you got to the bottom of the hill where the beach was at, then once you did your last one, you had to pick it up and run back to the finish line. And there was
160 pounds?
Yeah. And there was dudes just locked up, like hamstrings locked up, could barely even walk. Because you're hinging, doing the throws, and then you're just squatting, and then all of a sudden it's like pick it up, lean yourself back, and just fire all these different muscles that you've just been hammering away. But that one I did pretty well. I did better. I think I should have won that one if the judge made me like roll my bag one length closer at the last one because I wasn't in perfect line with the ruck marker.
Oh, come on.
So like one sandbag length, she's like, you got to move it forward. So I had to lean down, roll it forward, then pick it up and go. And that much time was what from my first to second.
Wow, dude.
So I got second on that one, but yeah, you just had to throw it over your shoulder, turn around, pick it back up. I mean, these dudes, it was a sprint. These dudes were fit, dude. It was fun.
Yeah. Can you throw that picture, your group picture in there right here?
Yeah. Of all of us, of the...
If you guys all standing together, yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You'll be cool with that?
Oh, yeah.
You were definitely the tallest out of that group.
For sure, guys. Yeah. There's not really ever anybody taller than me in CrossFit. There was one guy that was next to me that was a taller, bigger guy, but he still was 2 inches shorter than I was, inch or two shorter.
Yeah.
Not quite as his legs and stuff. He had bigger legs, but his upper body wasn't as big.
No, they don't. Those bro rep
weight wise.
So that's good.
He most certainly did not. I don't feel like CrossFit used to skip leg days.
Dude, which I've been doing the last couple of weeks. I've been doing doubles, so I've been doing a little CrossFit at 5, and then we've the guys that come in at 5, we've been staying till 6 to throw in a little bench press and back squats, deadlifts, some biceps and tricep workouts and stuff like that with dumbbells and everything like that, which I feel like are going really well. Like we're kind of getting more excited about actually going to class now. It's not when there's only a few of us in there, we do it in a circuit. So yeah, I feel like I'm getting some gains on.
Well, that'll help, dude, because that's an aspect of it too. Is especially if you're not competing and stuff, you're doing it for a reason, and that's to be in fit, to be in shape, and I mean to look good. You know what I mean in that sense. Like you're not just sitting there doing curls because you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna do bench press and curls because I'm gonna for some reason go out and bench something.
No, right.
You know what I mean? Like you're doing it because you want the physique, you want to feel good, and also because sometimes you don't always eat as good as you want to, so your workout kind of counters that stuff.
The way I'm looking at it is, if I can get my chest bigger, then my stomach won't look so big.
Yeah, perfect. See, there's a motive behind it, and I like it.
If I can bring the chest out to match up with my
I'm
stomach,
all about it.
It's gonna be all good. It's gonna be all good to get.
Well, that's like, so with even that, like, so there's people that help people do that stuff, and that's where I was gonna put that in there. So Kelly, the one that wrote in, that's in the medical field,
right?
That's Katie's sister. So that's Katie and Jake are the ones I'm gonna marry.
Yeah.
You know, and then so she's getting into that stuff, like, so you can look her up on Instagram. It's K, like the letter K _ Adkins 18. So it's ADKISON 18, and it's like, so she's getting into more of the like the functional fitness type stuff, but that you don't have to be some super fit person. You know, because everybody's like, oh, if I get in better shape, then I'll come do CrossFit. Or if I get in better shape, I'll come work out with you. Even if it wasn't CrossFit.
Right.
Even when I was like bro repping and stuff, I'd be like, dude, just come down to the gym with me. And they're like, I'm going to lose a little weight before I start coming down and working out with you. And I'm like, you'll lose weight if you come down and work out with me.
Correct.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I think it's a mental thing too. That there's just that. So like CrossFit's huge on that. Like nobody wants to come do it until they're in shape to do it, which is never the case. Like I was in pretty good shape, but when I started in CrossFit, I was not in CrossFit shape. You know what I mean? And so now I do it like I enjoy the working out part of it. I enjoy the push, the PRs, and just kind of pushing yourself and seeing what your body can do. Like especially like a competition like this, like pushing those limits, seeing how you can recover, seeing what you can do with your body and how quickly you can recover. And, you know, like that's how, like Sunday was the sandbag thing, and I felt as strong on Sunday doing it than if I was to do it on Friday.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I feel like the recovery, it's like a challenge in that, you know, and like Chris, dude, he showed up. Henning's a buddy of mine, Chris Henning. So his wife was in it, and he's got all kinds of cool stuff for recovery. Like the red light thing, I did that on Sunday, which is super cool. We were doing ice baths at night and stuff just to help with those recovery stuff. He's got some like this cool like little water thing that like he's got a whole deal behind it, but it like changes the molecular makeup in your water so your body absorbs it faster for hydration and stuff. Yeah, it's gnarly. He's got all the cool stuff. So I'm like, yeah, it's like I'm going to a spa every day after the workout. You know, it's freaking rad.
The best part about doing like a CrossFit workout, like I've seen some of the guys at we kind of tease around and we call it the bro rep. You know, the pro rep part of the gym. Those guys have their headphones in. They're on their own. They're listening to music. They're doing what they do, which is great. But I think the camaraderie and the community of the CrossFit, situation, like you're competing with this guy. Like you guys are competing together, and he's like, here, do this for recovery, do that for recovery, and you're going back out the next day, and you guys are going head to head. So it's that kind of thing is a cool feeling, for me.
Oh yeah, and it's like when we would be standing in the crowd, or even though they're warming up, we'd all be talking about it and just chammering on about whatever, like we're too old to be doing this, we need to pick a new hobby, joking around, stuff like that. Getting in the corrals, and then it's like we'd all bump fists, dude, and be like, good luck, man, all right, let's get this, boys. And then we'd go out there and put on a show, do what we could do. And then whoever's last, even then, like you're turning around and you've just finished and you're dying, but then it's like there's another guy that's still on the floor that's struggling, and so we would just walk over to him and cheer him on, help him keep going,
help him get through it.
Yeah, you just don't have that in different places like that. But yeah, so like Katie she comes and works out and does CrossFit, but then she popped something in her knee and had to have surgery, and rehabbed it back, and so she's been kind of putting that. But she's also in that, she does that kind of stuff and shows like the progress that she has made and going through the step-by-step stuff and getting better at the things that she's once, wanted to do. Starting out not good per se, and then all of a sudden now being good at it, And so that kind of gives those people the hope, like, look, you're not going to just come in and be this fit athlete. You're not going to come in and do everything, but that's not the point. The point is to get started, because it's also, for me too, like, just imagine, I want my body to be healthy and stuff. Like, we have kids. Like, I have a daughter. So to say, what if I had to give her a kidney?
Right.
Something happened, for God forbid, or you had to do blood transfusion or whatever it is that you had to give her something. Like, I would give her any body part of mine, to save her life. You know what I mean? I would never take hers. Like, I've told her that, like, you don't have a choice to give me anything. You keep it.
Yeah.
I will give it to you, because I've lived my life. You know what I mean? So I want my body to be ready. Like, I want it to be healthy and stuff. So if I did have to do it for whatever reason, like, they could just do it. Does that make sense?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So
100%.
So there's just little stuff, all the other stuff too. But why not be ready to, if you had to save your kid's life, your body be ready to be that.
That's amazing.
That next step.
I never thought of it that way. I don't want to say I was selfish, but I just wanted to be like, I've seen so many guys retire from the UPS, that when they retire, it's like they stop moving, and then all of a sudden, like, their health just tanks. Like, they have all these issues. They have kids, when they grow up, I want to be able to go to their stuff, all this stuff. I want to be able to be around for grandkids sports. I want to be able to be there when they get married. Like, I want to be involved with a lot of that stuff, where if you're just kind of lump on the log your whole life, you retire, then you're a bigger lump on the log because you don't have any activity of going to work every day. To where if I'm working out and I'm trying to eat better, and and I don't eat the best, and I get that, but I know in the back of my mind, like, even when I do bad, I'm like, oh, dude, don't do this. But it's still, at least I know it, and I'm not just going through the motions of just eating out all the time and stuff like that. But it's one.
Well, I think too, like you're saying, when the retire, it's not really necessarily selfish, because then you're also not a burden for somebody as you get older. Like, I don't want Alexa to have to take care of me.
True.
Because I didn't take care of myself leading up to that point. So, like you're saying, you're being a part of the great grandkids' life. But yeah,
now, there's
how
different
terrible is that if they're having to, like, wheel you around on your chair or something?
You
like,
got Hessey up here taking care of himself, like this, and then you got Vinny, it's just a little bit lower.
Just working his way up.
Kind of maintaining just underneath. I'm just following along.
I'm comfortable right here. I'm good.
I'm not down here. I'm just like, all right, I'll just kind of hang out.
Yeah, you're above average, dude. I mean, you didn't used to be.
No,
you didn't used to be.
No,
you've gotten a lot better on it, for sure.
At all.
But yeah, so yeah, and I mean, that's how that weekend went and stuff.
And you placed what?
8th.
8th place, dude. That's amazing. I mean, like, when you think about the athletes that had to compete to get there, so you had to qualify to get there, and there was probably 1,000 athletes that try to qualify. Maybe
I think there was a little more than that, but yeah.
Yeah. So out of 1,000 dudes or more, 1,000 plus, they took 17 of them.
20.
So they take 20 in
20 out, and then 17 made it to the actual event.
Right.
3 of them had pulled out prior to.
It's amazing. And then to finish in 8th place people in this competition, that's fun. So you were the 8th fittest person out of 1,000 plus people. Phenomenal.
Thanks, man.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And then you were able to go to work the next. No,
old man.
You didn't go to work.
No, I wasn't working Tuesday. Took a rest day. I had to take a rest day. I worked Tuesday and went and worked out Tuesday.
So, I mean, that's a tale right there of recovery and fitness, that you've done beforehand. So it took you one day to be back on the horse, going to work, working out, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, that's great. Like, somebody like myself, if I'd done 3 days of that, I mean, I would have still probably went to work on Tuesday, but I still would have been a wreck. I mean, I work out enough, but I don't work out like in that.
It's big volume. It's a lot of volume.
It's a lot of volume.
Oh yeah.
A lot of that's with your food. A lot of that's with your actual workout regimen. That's with your BC. That's with all the supplements and stuff like that. Just to take.
Yeah, just keeping your body hydrated, keeping your body flushed, keeping the muscles. The cold plunge helps. The running the hypervolt stuff and doing that kind of stuff. But dude, so moving on past that, people are probably sick of talking about fitness, but hopefully, I mean, get involved. It's fun. Like, get after it. Not always. At the end, it's fun. Sometimes during it feels like it's not so fun.
Yeah, exactly. During it, you're like, this is the dumbest idea I've ever had.
I need a new freaking hobby, dude. This sucks.
That first workout that you and I did down in Cedar City, I thought I was going to die.
I think you almost did. I thought you were dying. I thought you were dying. Yeah. You met Jesus, dude. In that picture, when you're like looking up, you saw Jesus right there.
He was holding, he was carrying.
He was holding you up, dude. He was finding your puffer for you. Yeah. Oh yeah. I took that too. I took your inhaler with me. The one you left.
Rough.
Do they go bad? They have like an expiration date? Probably not. I took one with me because I started to get so this girl shows up to the gym sick, and I'm probably the a-hole. I don't try to be an a-hole or sound like one. That's probably not true, but I do try not to be. And so she shows up and she's sitting on the stairs.
The time and the place. There is a time and
a place. There's a time and a place. So she's sitting on the stairs, and this is the week before the competition. And I'm like, "What's up with you?" Oh, I'm sick. I'm like, so my first reaction is just my first reaction. Like, you get what you get. And I go, "Why are you here?" And she just looks at me with this like deer in the headlights look. And she's like, "Well, I'm going to sweat it out." I'm like, "Do it at home. Go home." Right, and then she just like, this look at her face like, and I'm like, and then I'm disgusted. I can only imagine what my face looked like. But I'm thinking to myself, like, why show up to a gym if you're sick? I mean, clearly you know that you're sick, and you're going to sweat it out. How many gym
members were qualified for the NorCal? I mean, obviously your owner, yourself.
So that's it was Sweeney, me, Maggie, John, Amber. 5 from our gym.
So 5 from your gym.
Yeah.
And she's bringing in a little.
And she's one of them. She was one of the qualified.
Oh, okay.
And she's like, "I'm just gonna get through and get some." I'm like, so I stay away from her. Dude, everybody started getting it. Sweeney started to get it before we left. I started getting a sore throat. So I started hammering like 3 days prior. I started doing the emergency with elderberry. Elderberry. Yeah. But it's emergency is what the packets are called.
Right. Yeah.
With elderberry. I'm slamming those one a day, drinking TheraFlu at night. Hit a couple NyQuils like a couple nights before to kind of get all that stuff into my system.
Right.
Trying to flush all that out, dude. Doing liquid IVs all day just to try to get like overloaded with electrolytes and just to, like peeing like a Russian racehorse, dude. Just trying to flush as much as I could out. Because even Tosh's like, "Man, your throat sounds weird." And it probably sounded weird our last podcast. I don't know. But she said it was because it was sore then. Prior to because we
how bad my mic was sounding last time.
Anyways, Sweeney was bad. He was snotting it out. He was trying to sweat it out like the day before. He was all stressed out, which is granted. That's big money.
He's going up for $25,000.
Yeah, and so he was pissed. Yeah, we all were. But so, dude. So then we were. I had a story. That we were talking about that I wrote down for this podcast. So we're going to move into the next section here. You ever had done one of them berry fences, them dog berry fences?
I don't know what that is.
So it's like the berry fence, like you bury in the ground.
Buried in the ground, underground, so invisible fence.
Invisible fence. You put the wire down.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that time we put one in for the dogs?
Yes.
And I had for Bane and Diesel.
Yes.
So we were talking about that. I think when we got an Airbnb at the competition, and so we were laughing about it. So because I took this fence and Tosh and I went out there and dug. So I have DG that's on the outer side of my yard, right? So I have grass, and then it's like 14 feet from the edge of the grass to the fence. That's DG, and the corners are like 17 feet because they kind of widen out. So I was like, oh, well, that'll give them, and they can go all the way around the whole yard. So I bought this one. It's got like 800 feet of wire or whatever. So I could bury it around the front where the grass is at, then loop it around because it has to stay connecting.
Yes.
And then I looped it around, and then I buried it down along the back side of the fence. So they'd have that whole run along the outer back. And I'm not, like, our property's we're almost a half acre, just a little under. So it's a big backyard section of that. So we're out there, dude. I'm shoveling, and she's putting the line down there, and then I'd come back in behind, and we'd both bury this thing. It's hot, sweaty. We got the double collars. We got the little thing. It's got the little adjuster on it, you know what I mean, because it adjusts the voltage that it makes it reach. So I have Bane, for the listeners that don't know. He's a masty pit, he stands taller. He's like 80 pounds. Then we have Diesel, who is Shih Tzu Pomeranian that got humped by a border collie. So he looks like a miniature, I don't know, not really like a border collie, but pointy ears, curled up tail because the Pomeranian, but he's black and white like a border collie. But he's only like, 22 pounds?
Right, he stands about 10 inches.
He's small. Stands, his neck's about 10 inches off the ground. Bane's neck's about 3 feet off the ground.
Right.
2.5 feet. So we buried this fence. I'm like, this thing's going to be great. Then I'm going to put up fencing. I'm going to do all that stuff. I'll teach them. I'll put the flags there so they can see the flags. And I'm like, so I'm showing them as they get close, it beeps. And they know what the beeping is because I have a shock collar that I would put on them, especially Bane, like when we're hunting coyotes and stuff. So, dude, I get this thing up, and Bane goes up to it, and it's not transmitting enough. So he gets super close to it before it's like, beep. It beeps at him. He stops, takes another step, zaps him. Now he freaks out and just runs right through it, and now he's out in the yard. And now it's pointless because he's never going to come back because it's going to beep and try to shock his ass again. And I'm like, oh, gosh. So now I got to turn it off, right? I got to go out there, and I just turn his collar off, make him come back in. Turn it back on. It beeps. It hooks up. So I'm trying to walk him up to it, letting it beep, and I'm backing him up, and I'm doing this thing, and he does it again and just freaks out and runs through the fence again. I'm like, this sucks. Tosh's like, this is not going to work. I go, it will. You have to train them to know. So, but I'm like, it's not enough because he's getting like less than 6 inches to this fence or to the wire.
Yeah.
And, and then I look over, and, dude, Diesel's just laying in the middle of the thing, just freaking out, dude. Like, he's got, like, a 6-inch path in the middle because I turned it up so that it would reach Bane's collar. Well, he's 10 inches off the ground. He's close to that wire. He's got about a 6-inch strip down the middle of that 14-foot lane. And he don't want to move. This thing is lighting his ass up. Like every move he makes, dude, is like, bark, bark, bark. He looks like a pinball back and forth. He's going, beep, 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 beep. This thing's beeping, shocking. And then soon he's just laying in the middle and won't move. Just tail down. He's just as still as you could make him look like an otter in the water, dude. Just laying there. And he won't move. Bane's like tripping out, like going around him and stuff, and he won't go forward, backwards, left or right. He is just dead laid in the middle. He found him a spot that was not lighting his ass up, dude. His eyes are as big as could be. He's just like, oh god, I'm dying in my heart, and dude, just getting defibbed the whole time. Oh, dude, I was like, oh, bud, I'm sorry. Oh, shit, let me get this collar off of you. This is terrible. Dude, he was so. Oh, it was brutal. I felt so bad. Anyways, it didn't work, so I took it all down. I left the wire. I wasn't about to undo the wire. No, hell no. So I sent an email to the company. It was like, this ain't going to work. You guys don't say that. Like with 2 dogs, it doesn't work. Right. Because you're turning up the transmitter so high to get the tall dog and the little dog. And they gave me my money back, which was cool. So
that's good.
Yeah, I'll take that.
What do you got
for
now?
sure.
Fence?
Yeah, so now I built like a big dog run post. I put posts in and then fenced all in. They got a big dog house now with siding and a roof and all that stuff. And with it's summertime, I got a sprinkler system in there that kicks on in the day, hoses it down and gets everything wet, cools it off. So, but yeah, dude, I was laughing so hard though when we were talking about it. I forgot about it.
Dude.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to do some fun facts real quick because we got a special thing this week, guys. We're going to do, we got Vinny's Little Bits coming up. But I did find Vinny's Little Bits. Nuka. Bits. The bits. So, I did find, dude, you remember we were talking about facts? We were talking about history facts?
Yeah.
And you never find any?
I don't
and
find
so
any.
I do all the research for Nevada. So it's kind of like we'll just do funny facts or fun facts or like history. This one's sort of kind of, some of them are for history I found. Okay. Just a little tidbit knowledge stuff we'll hit through here. So you know the gold rush, like the California gold rush, and then like Nevada had theirs.
Yes.
Back in like the 1840s or whatever.
Yes.
Mid to late 1840s. So, you know, everybody talks about the California gold rush. So Nevada gold rush is by far larger of the two.
Yes. Correct.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Producing gold over a longer period of time. California's rush only lasted 7 years.
Yeah.
Nevada's has been going since 1961 and hasn't stopped.
1961 or 1861?
1961.
Dude. Well, yeah.
So the California gold rush of 1848 only went for 7 years and then stopped.
Oh, yeah.
And then
Still
Nevada
going.
has, once
I
theirs
know.
hit,
Correct.
it just kept going. Still going, I should say. Yeah.
I look for gold every time I go to look for
Yeah, dude, it's everywhere. Anytime you see
coyotes.
green,
I'm just
like green in the rocks, like green coloring the rocks, there's gold around there. You can find it. Yeah. Well, there's your little tip.
Oh,
There's
that's
another.
coyotes.
Native. You can just do both. And then you've been. Did I ever take you to Lake Tahoe?
Oh, we went to Lake Tahoe. Yes, I've been there.
Okay, so you remember how big it is?
Yes.
So Lake Tahoe is so big. How big is it? It's so big that each month it loses nearly 12 billion gallons of water in evaporation.
Evaporation doesn't even go anywhere.
No, well, I mean,
Or anything like
goes
that.
to the
Like, does
sky,
it go? Is
clouds,
it feeding
rains,
anybody
rains
water?
back down.
Well, I mean, it's going to the sky, but I mean, the Lake Tahoe is not like Lake Mead.
Well, yeah, there's water. It lets water out like down the Truckee River,
Oh, okay.
but it's not like it's not like that is feeding a reservoir, and
Right.
keeping reservoirs full.
Gotcha.
But that just shows the size of it. It's crazy, huh?
That is crazy.
So then there's a Rubicon Trail up there that everybody goes on. That's the one you hear about. Everybody says Rubicon. They take their Jeeps and all that stuff on.
Right.
So it's like a huge thing. Thousands of people do it, I think, a year for sure. I've been on it once. So it's gnarly. Some of the gnarliest Jeep crawling and all that stuff. The Rubicon Trail Lighthouse is still one of the world's only such structures located in high elevation. The lighthouse has the Rubicon Point, the highest elevation, more than 6,000 feet of an American lighthouse.
Wow.
So it's the highest.
Most lighthouses are down
lighthouses.
at freaking
sea level.
sea level. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know I didn't look into that one to see like what the purpose of having the lighthouse up there, like having a beacon. I guess probably that was the thing they transferred
the lake's
over.
big enough, so you must have had like ships and boats and stuff like that. They probably needed a lighthouse up there because it's so big. Assuming.
No, it's not. The Rubicon Trail is it's that direction, but it's not on Tahoe.
It's not at the lake. Is there any water at all?
No. Like there's springs and like a little creek.
So they have a lighthouse in the desert.
It's like, but that's what I mean. It's like up on the mountain. I don't know what the reasoning behind. I didn't look into it. I guess I could have.
That's cool.
Yeah. So
I didn't find any history or any fun facts, but I did have a question for you.
okay, good.
So my question is, would out of these, no, just no. All right.
Remember we were talking about last time when I was told Alexa?
You just no.
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 Oh, damn it.
No.
I gotta, hold on.
Hold on. Let me work this in for you. Let me negotiate you a question here.
Yeah.
So, would you want to do? I don't know if it's a bucket list or what would you feel more safe with, but would you do a hot air balloon, bungee jump, skydive, zip line, or parasail from a boat, or even do a hang glider? So like all these air, I kind of an air question for you.
So I've bungee jumped before, and I've zip lined before.
So you've done those two things.
Yeah. Skydiving, I would skydive. I think I would probably do, like now, I would not bungee jump just because I feel like I don't even know if they bungee jump in the U.S. anymore. And I feel like when you go to places like cruises, or you go to another country and they like you can sign up for an excursion and it's like bungee jumping, I feel like that's a terrible idea because they don't have near the rules and laws that like they have to regulations that they have to abide by. So you're basically just going off a handful of rubber bands. You know what I mean?
Right. Like you're just kind of like,
I would say I would definitely. Alexa wants to skydive, so I'm pretty sure by the time she gets old enough, we'll probably do it.
So you'd go like a tandem skydive.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you go tandem at first anyway. So
I'll probably go with Doug because he has jumped enough times that he now can jump with somebody.
Oh, okay.
And so I would probably have Alexa go with him, and then I would go with.
Have you ever watched any of the like zipline fails, bungee jump fails?
No. If I'm gonna do it, I don't want. I've seen the bungee jump ones like where half of it gives way. You know, when they do the double ones and stuff. Ziplining ones, I never watched those ones. We did that when we were in St. Lucia. We did it. It's like 3 miles of ziplining through the jungle there, which it was pretty gnarly. Like you had to hike up to these places. Like they drove you way up there, and then you hiked up even further, and then ziplined down and down.
I've seen
and down and
where
down.
they like the guy like he's freaking out because like
it was cool.
Either the that's amazing. Zip line itself is starting to come apart. It's too hot. They're going too fast, and they reach up and try to stop themselves by grabbing the rope. It's just instinct to grab onto the
cable.
Zip line. And it's a cable. That's a metal cable.
It's metal. Yeah.
Spraying on there, you're done.
Oh yeah.
Regardless, I mean, your hands are going to burn off. So, yeah, it's one of those things. I guess it's on a bucket list for when you feel like you've accomplished and your kids are good. Everything in your life is going to be fine with or without you. So then you might have to do one of these, skydives. So you
just make sure your life insurance is in line.
Right.
But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd do those two. I mean, I'm pretty sure, like, say, I'll end up probably skydiving because she.
What about the parasailing from the boat?
Is that the one where you're in the water and they pull you?
Nah, you're on like a parachute, and the parachute's attached.
It's hooked to the boat. Yeah, I feel like that one's not as bad. I mean, I've seen people get
if it breaks,
piled in. If it breaks, then I just parachute myself down to the water, But the parasailing or whatever, where you go jump off of a cliff and that, like, the little. Are you talking about the little wing things? Or are you talking about the parachute one where you take off running and you parachute while you're sitting in that little seat?
Yeah,
is paragliding the one where it's like you're hanging onto it and your feet are hanging off the back? I've seen that.
They do a ton of it. Like
that one, I probably don't really have any. I'm not really into that. Yeah, I mean, it seems
just
cool and all,
around.
but I don't really have any interest in that one.
See, and I feel like if you're at the mercy of like wind, air, high pressure, low pressure, any of that kind of, like, I'm sorry, but like a parachute, like there's no wind or there's no air to catch under it. Like I've seen them fold. A lot of that stuff is you just gotta, I don't know, do your research and know what you're gonna do. So, and I don't do any of that. So it's like if I'm doing any like skydiving or anything, I'm at the mercy of of whoever I'm going with.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
Those are
when we go to do it, I'll let you know. You come with us.
I don't know. There was some skydiving down there in Mesquite that I looked at, and then we saw a bunch of them coming in while we were golfing. My wife was like, "You are not doing that." And like they were landing right there by the airport,
right up on that hill there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked like they were having a ton of fun.
Dude, looks like the time of their life. Super excited. No, I'll probably end up doing it. So if you want to do it, just let me know. All right, here we go.
Go to skydiving.
No, you won't. Dude. We'll just go do it. Better to ask for forgiveness than permission. Okay, it's time. We got
you ready?
What we like to call Vinny's Little Bit. I like to call it Vinny's Little Bits, but he corrects me on it every time. So it's Vinny's Little Bit. So for your listening pleasures and watching pleasures, if you're on YouTube, flapping your gums, YouTube, we have Vinny.
Comment.
Subscribe and comment. All right, Vinny, it's all yours. Time is now yours.
Oh, wow. Thank you for that very soothing introduction there. So the other day I was driving around, and it was, I don't know, in between 4 and 4:30, and I've already eaten all my food for the day. Not all of it, but, I'm just driving around, and I was like, I'm starving. And I was thinking I can just go to the gas station, right? I can get to the gas station, I can buy something. When you're walking around the gas station, what's the first thing you're going to look at? You're going to look at, like, donuts, you're going to look at something quick, you're going to look at something that's not healthy, and I'm just like, wait a minute, you fat bastard. It's 4:30 in the afternoon. You're supposed to be hungry. Like, dinner's coming. Like, just make it. Like, I'm trying to figure out when was it okay to always be like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. I'm hungry, I'm gonna eat. Like, we used to have 3 meals a day: breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm looking at a guy like you that's like, okay, when did it be okay to do this? And then all of a sudden, all these little golden arches start popping up. You can go 30 miles, there's a golden arch. So is that, like, they call it the golden arches, and I'm thinking, is that heaven? Is that what they're trying to put in your head? Is because when you think of golden arch, we're gonna look at it and be like, what is the first thing that you're thinking? Something like, here you go. And I'm thinking, okay, so a guy like you think of as da 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 da, I'm loving it. You're not thinking shit. You know what I mean? You're just like, you shouldn't be thinking of that kind of stuff. It's insane on how bad, whatever, it's just a tune, and for me, I'm like, dude, that's a quarter pounder. Oh, that's a strawberry shake. Those fries. I mean, you hear that music, it's automatically right in your head. These advertisements, your golden arches are all over the place, and you hear that music as a guy like you, and I'm picking you out of the audience right here because you're a fit man, and this music, you're like, yeah, it's a commercial, but for me, it's a lifeline to some food. It's a lifeline to shake, French fries, freaking. I'm already, and as soon as I hear that song, I've already gone through a list of food to go through. So that was kind of my bit that I worked on this week was this golden arch and
like it.
Like
Yeah,
man, dude.
Dude, that music hits, and you probably got a menu that runs through your brain, huh?
That's
You're
what
like,
I'm saying.
oh, number 2, number 3. Well, I don't know what the menu. I would say,
yeah,
number 2
exactly.
with whatever. Yeah, a quarter pounder. Number 2, a quarter pounder of cheese. Oh, I could probably get a supersize. They still supersize at McDonald's. I don't even know if that's a thing anymore. I don't even know, dude. I can tell you. Oh man, the last time I went to McDonald's, it was I don't know. No, it'd have to be a breakfast. I think the last time I went was for like a breakfast, and I want to say we were going up to go snowboarding or something, or we were going somewhere and we stopped and I got like an egg McMuffin, sausage egg McMuffin with cheese or whatever, and I'll bet that had to be. It was like, I swear it was like Duke, Mitch, and me going 10 years ago probably.
Yeah,
if not more.
I know.
12. Actually, I don't think Alexa was even born, so it was more than 12 years ago, bro. Isn't that crazy? I don't even know. And it's good though. It's good.
It is.
Like, I hate to say it, dude, like them little cheeseburgers. Holy cheese, dude. I remember them cheese. I could probably go smash one right now and be like, oh, it's so good.
I could smash probably 4.
Yeah.
Double quarter pounder with cheese, freaking pickles, mustard.
I remember the little cheeseburgers because they didn't have like sesame seeds buns. They didn't have sesame seeds. No, the little cheeseburgers didn't.
I understand the little ones, but I'm talking about quarter pounder.
Oh, yeah, you're getting the big fatties.
Big ones, dude.
Oh, dude. I don't even know, like I say, if they supersize it. I don't even know what they call it. Probably just biggie.
They don't. You just do large.
Biggie? Oh, it's just large now. Grande.
Dude, when they have a soda, any of their sodas are $1. So you can get a small soda for $1. You can get a large soda for $1. So guess what? You're just gonna get a large.
Yeah.
Why not?
Sure.
And then you get a large
Moderation.
fry. Dude.
I'm just kidding.
They need to put some restrictions on that. But I when I was driving, I seriously was delivering packages, and it was like, man, I'm hungry. I'm like, dude, I'm in a town that doesn't have a gas station. I'm like, all right, when I get back to the next town that I have to go back to, it has a gas station. Yeah. And the first thing I thought of was like, oh, dude, I can get a chocolate pie. I can get a Boston pie, which is cream
at the gas station. Yeah.
At the gas station. Yeah. I can get those freaking raspberry donuts, the raspberry filled powdered donuts.
So you just think when you're hungry, you just want to get crap.
I do.
Well, because the problem is you're in between. You've already had lunch, and now you're going to have dinner. So you're like, oh, I can just get something that's not sustainable. You know what I mean? Like something like a snack.
Yeah. But the problem is there's six of those raspberry donuts, and I would have eaten all of them.
Oh, yeah.
All of them.
I know. We've talked about this issue.
It would have been on, and I'm like, no. I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be hungry. That's the thing. Like, our society has made it to where if you're hungry, you eat. If you're hungry,
convenient. You eat. Yeah, you're convenient. You're hungry, you eat. Everything's convenient.
You're supposed to be hungry in between meals.
Yeah, because you imagine you imagine like what it's like when in other countries, like they don't have that.
Right, they
barely have a meal in the morning, maybe at night, and you're just like, here we are, like, gosh, I've been 2 hours without eating. I'm hungry.
Exactly.
I better stop at a gas station, give me some zingers.
And if I was driving in my truck listening to the radio, which I don't listen to the radio, I listen to Spotify and stuff like that. But if you had the radio on and you got a commercial, and it was a McDonald's, I mean, you hear that. I hear that music, and I'm like, oh yeah, cheeseburger, double. I mean, like you said, the menu. What is it? They call it a double cheeseburger. They got the spicy chicken. I mean, it runs through my list of what I could get, and then when I get there, I overbuy. I overbuy all the time. I haven't done it recently.
That's how they honey dick you, because this is for $1, this is for that.
$1, yeah. Your spicy chicken, $1.25.
I put a diesel truck out that was on fire that was full of French fries, McDonald's French fries. Yep.
Like a semi?
Yep, whole semi caught on fire.
Did it smell like McDonald's French fries?
Oh yeah, it was terrible,
dude.
It was lovely for sure. It's crazy. So they stack them down the middle pallet. I mean, there's a full truckload of French fries down the center of this freezer van, and it caught on fire. And so we, peel open, we're fighting it, and we get it all knocked down. This thing is raging like it was a complete loss.
Yeah,
because it was out on Schurz Highway. So they were heading from Idaho to Vegas, which I swear the guy said, and don't quote me on this, they take 7 truckloads to Vegas a day of McDonald's French fries.
Of course.
And he had, when his truck caught on fire, he had called back, told him what was happening, that he had got the rig unhooked, the trailer was on fire, and they had already dispatched out another truck.
Yeah,
because if they didn't,
driving past you while you were putting it out.
If they didn't, then some of the McDonald's in Vegas would run out of fries.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. And dude, this thing fully engulfed, hot, and just the smell of fries and all this stuff. And we're fighting down, dude. We were pulling the boxes off them to get them busted open, like to get in there. And then when you get in the middle of them, they're still frozen.
Oh, yeah. Dude.
We thought about just throwing a couple boxes of them in and take them home. Just have your own McDonald's fries. You just air fry them up and go with it. But it smelled just like the McDonald's fries.
I know a guy that his company, he's not of getting the bread to McDonald's. Not in the baking department of it, but he's in the logistics.
Okay.
Like, he gets the buns, he gets all the, like, he has to be, I mean, it is so strict. Like, if they miss the deadline by 30 minutes, then that entire truck is a wash. Like, they don't accept it. It's not considered fresh. It's not considered any of it.
Wow.
Like, if there's a 30-minute delay,
Yeah.
that whole entire truck is a loss. Like, they have to write it off as a loss. So they're keeping trucks, like, just moving constantly. Same thing with those French fries.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, we got a fire call.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Ooh,
All
fire
right,
alarm, buddy.
guys. Thanks. This was we nailed it. It was a fun one, dude. I liked it. I liked your bit too.
I
Yeah,
hope
the
our-
French fry thing was good. And dude,
French
that shirt's a lot, dude. I like it though.
That shirt? Yeah, I got that
Yeah.
on a cruise like a few years ago.
If everybody, when he says he got on a cruise, you picture it's like bright pink and yellow and flowery, and
It's
it's a Hawaiian
$5
shirt.
at the
That
board,
looks
man.
good, dude. It's bright. It's popping.
Grand Turk. It says Grand Turk right there.
Grand Turk. She's popping off, dude. It's nice. It looks good on you. I
All right,
like
brother.
it.
Got to get
All
back
right,
to work.
bro. Yeah, I gotta go save some lives.
Saves lives.
All right, bro, man.
Peace.
Peace.
Thank you.